Today, many wonder if there are any places left to explore. The answer, my friend, is yes. There are many adventurers alive today, exploring uncharted jungles, the ocean floor, even the vast frontier of space. One of the most notable adventurers today is none other than Captain Crunch. In fact, the captain recently returned from an adventure that took him deep into the very center of the Earth. It all started a few weeks ago at Crunch headquarters.
Hey, what's this? My pipeline of Crunchium has run dry. I need that Crunchium to give my Cap'n Crunch cereal its sweet, delicious, crunchy taste. Either something is blocking that pipeline, or the Crunchium collector at the other end is not working.
This was serious. It meant that the captain had to stop making Cap'n Crunch cereal until he could locate the problem in the pipeline. And this pipeline ran straight down into the center of the Earth.
I'll have to go underground and find out what happened. I'll start by checking the pipeline all the way to the ocean floor. A miracle of modern engineering, the subterranean, the only vehicle in the world that can explore the deepest oceans and dig its way to the center of the Earth. Let's get ready to go. Ahoy, Control Center, open ocean access doors. Dive, dive, dive.
The subterranean dove alongside the pipeline, its metal tubes almost as wide as the ship itself. The captain could see inside the pipeline through glass panels.
Attention, Control Center. This is the captain. So far, the pipeline is empty. It looks like the problem's much deeper, possibly as deep as the Crunchium collector. I'm converting the subterranean to digging mode.
Captain Crunch was now traveling deeper than any explorer ever dreamed of going. As he dug his way toward the Earth's core, his eyes remained fixed on the forward view screen, watching the Earth's multicolored layers of rocks and minerals race by.
Attention, Control Center. I'm getting close to the core now. Control Center, I've broken through into the Earth's core. I'm going out to investigate. I have to proceed on foot to the Crunchium collector. Cap'n Crunch, over and out.
The captain got out of the subterranean and began to walk in the direction of the Crunchium collector. As he walked, he got a strange feeling. A feeling as if he were being watched.
What?
As Captain Crunch entered the cavern that housed the immense Crunchium collector, he stopped dead in his tracks. He couldn't believe his eyes. The Crunchium collector that fed the pipeline was destroyed.
What could have done this? Who could have done this? Why would... Wait a minute. What's that noise? Digging? Who could be digging down here? I'd better find out.
Slowly, cautiously, the captain crept along a dark and twisting pathway. Hidden in the darkness, he carefully peered over some rocks to see an army of robots, ripping the Crunchium out of the cavern walls and loading it into a second pipeline.
Those robots are digging out all the Crunchium. At this rate, it will be gone in no time.
The captain could also see a band of evil-looking thieves moving among the robot diggers, shouting orders. Several of the thieves were gathered around the biggest and meanest-looking one of the bunch.
What's that he's saying? All the Crunchium will be theirs? And once they have it all, they'll be the only ones with Cap'n Crunch? Yikes! Who's there?
Captain Crunch expected to see a gang of Crunchium thieves about to pounce on him from behind. But instead, He saw dozens of big, gentle eyes blinking at him from the darkness. The creatures slowly and carefully stepped forward where the captain could see them. Their colorful, round, furry bodies were unmistakable.
The Crunchlings, thank goodness it's you. What's going on here? What? What do you want to show me? Okay, lead the way.
The Crunchlings led the captain away from the thieves and into an upward winding cave. The cave opened onto a ledge that overlooked a huge underground city. It was Crunchium City, built by the Crunchlings entirely of the gold-delicious heart of Cap'n Crunch cereal. The Crunchlings longed for the days before the thieves came. They led a simple life, collecting only the Crunchium that they needed to survive and playing sports. In fact, before the captain visited them and asked to set up his small Crunchium collector, they hadn't even seen other beings. The Crunchlings told the captain how they were forced to leave Crunchium City by the thieves, who wanted to demolish the city for the Crunchium it contained.
Crunchlings, I will not let this happen to you. I think I should have a talk with these Crunchium thieves.
Captain Crunch led the Crunchlings back down the caves to face the thieves. As they emerged into the cavern where the thieves were digging, everything stopped. The captain and the Crunchlings stepped boldly forward, and the largest Crunchium thief of the bunch stepped up to confront Captain Crunch.
Who am I? I'm Cap'n Crunch, and these are the Crunchlings. What do we want? We want you to pack up your evil digging robots and your shabby pipeline and go back to wherever it is you came from. You have no right to be here. You have no right to destroy Crunchium City. Look here, Big Shot. I'm not afraid of you, and neither are the Crunchlings. And they want you out, and so do I. Who's gonna stop ya? Well, this calls for a plan. Say, you're a big one. Probably the strongest creature around, right? How about a contest? I thought so. A real conceited bully. Well, I'll tell you what. How about an athletic contest? That's right, an athletic contest. One Crunchling against one Crunchium thief. We can do a contest of speed, strength, or agility. Winner takes all and gets to stay here. The loser is forced to leave the center of the earth forever. What do you say, tough guy? What? You want to choose the event on the day of the competition? It sounds kind of one-sided, but okay, it's a deal. We'll meet back here 1 month from today.
The Crunchium thieves were faster, stronger, and more agile than the Crunchlings. Although it seemed as though no Crunchling could ever beat the best Crunchium thief, the captain knew that with proper training and lots of encouragement, the Crunchlings would have a good shot at winning. The captain had an idea. After many years of adventuring, he knew of 3 special places that were perfect for training these Crunchlings into champion athletes.
We don't have much time, so we have to start training immediately. We're going to Crunch headquarters for intense training. When we return, all of you Crunchlings can pick who amongst you will challenge the Crunchium thieves. Let's go!
The captain turned the subterranean around and began the long ascent to the Earth's surface. As they dug upward, Captain Crunch briefed the Crunchlings on the 3 training locations he had in mind, locations that he had discovered in his many journeys.
You'll really love Crunch headquarters, and there's always plenty of my delicious Cap'n Crunch cereal for you day or night.
After giving them time to get familiar with Crunch headquarters, the captain rounded the Crunchlings up and brought them to the first world that they would train in.
Crunchlings! Welcome to Backwardia, a land where everything is in reverse.
And as the little Crunchlings looked on, they saw that the captain was right. In Backwardia, animals and vehicles traveled backwards. Signs were printed backwards, and everyone living in Backwardia spoke backwards. The captain enlisted the help of several kids to help him train the Crunchling athletes. With the help of their young coaches, the Crunchlings were able to practice their speed skills by racing through the streets of Backwardia on skateboards, hopping over obstacles.
If you can win a skateboard race in Backwardia, you can win a race anywhere! Faster! Come on, faster!
After several days of speed training in Backwardia, the little Crunchlings were getting better and faster all the time. So the captain knew it was time to shove off for their next location. The captain brought them back to Crunch headquarters to rest and gather their energy for the next training exercise. The Crunchlings lounged, eating their favorite flavors of Captain Crunch cereal, which is packed with the crunchium they need and love. They also played amongst themselves and with their kid trainers. After this brief stopover, the captain loaded the Crunchlings and their kid trainers into his roomy new hovercraft for the journey to Computica.
Our next stop will be Computica, an ultra-advanced microchip world where you can practice your jumping and timing.
After arriving in Computica, the Crunchlings practiced jumping along the floating rows of circuit boards and microchips. Sometimes their timing was off and they would fall to the surface the hovercraft rested on. But the kids who were coaching them were there to encourage them to try again and praise them when they succeeded. As the Crunchlings trained to improve their timing and agility, Captain Crunch noticed something interesting. He noticed that with each successful day of training, the Crunchlings seemed to be getting bigger and faster, growing into skilled Crunchium athletes.
You kids are doing a great job coaching the Crunchlings. I can see them grow in mind and body every day. And thanks to your encouragement and praise, I think they have the confidence they need to win.
More and more each day, the Crunchlings moved closer to their goal of being fast enough and agile enough to face the Crunchium thieves.
Okay, my Crunchling buddies, it's time for your next challenge. Let's get inside my time machine, the Jurassic car, and head for our third training stop, Jurassica.
With the turn of a lever and a flash of blue light, Captain Crunch, the Crunchlings, and their young team of coaches found themselves transported back in time to Jurassica. A lush, prehistoric place where dinosaurs slowly crept and pterodactyls glided above the fuming volcanoes. In Jurassica, the Crunchlings all got a chance to build their strength. The captain guided the Crunchlings through a prehistoric game of hoops. The young champions lifted heavy boulders high over their heads and shot baskets made of woven jungle vines. The coaches cheered their Crunchling friends on as they watched the growing creatures improve.
Nothing but net! Way to go, Crunchlings!
The Crunchlings had faced challenges no one had ever dreamed of before. And they grew bigger, stronger, faster, and more confident. They were ready to take on the evil Crunchium thieves and save their homes. So now it was time to return to Crunchium City. The captain loaded his brave Crunchling friends and their coaches into the subterranean for that long, dark trip to the center of the earth. During their descent, the Crunchlings had a decision to make. They had to pick someone from their group to be their champion. All of them were ready, but one of them trained especially hard and seemed to have a slight edge. This Crunchling was chosen by the other Crunchlings to be their champion, the one to compete against the Crunchium Thieves' best athlete.
My friends, it's time for the showdown between the Crunchlings and the Crunchium Thieves. Everything is riding on this competition. The fate of Cap'n Crunch cereal, the fate of Crunchium City, and the fate of all the Crunchlings. I know you have trained hard, and it's time to go out there and put all of your training to work. It's time to win! You, the leader of the thieves, will face us? Fine, we'll still beat you. What athletic challenge have you chosen? A race? So be it. A race through the center of the earth. We're ready for you, Crunchium Thief. Take your place at the starting line. All right, everybody. I want a good, clean contest. This one is for the whole enchilada. All the Crunchium. Get ready!
As the two competitors took their places at the starting line, the Crunchium Thief seemed to tower over the Crunchling. The air became filled with the excited chatter of the Crunchlings and the mocking mutterings of the Crunchium Thieves.
On your marks! Get set! Go!
The competitors exploded off the starting line. As the Crunchium Thieves' champion lengthened his stride, he began to outdistance the brave Crunchling. And a crooked smile came over his face. He outjumped, outran, and outperformed the tiny Crunchling, and was obviously enjoying himself.
Run! Remember what you've learned!
To anyone except Captain Crunch, it would seem as though all was lost. But the captain knew that the Crunchling had an advantage. The desire to win, the support of the other Crunchlings, and the kids who coached the athletes on the surface. And one thing more. The young champion had heart. It wasn't long before the Crunchium Thieves' champion started to lose his concentration. In his overconfidence, he began to look backwards in order to laugh at the Crunchling who was trying so hard to pass him. The Crunchium Thief began to run into the rock walls of the race course. He became dazed and angry at himself for looking foolish in front of the other Crunchium Thieves. Before long, the Crunchling athlete was neck and neck with the thief leader. The extra training the captain provided was really paying off now. As they approached the finish line, the Crunchling skillfully avoided tripping over several small boulders by bounding over them at exactly the right moment. Brains and timing would win this race.
Go! Go! That's it! Jump! And the winner is the Crunchling! Crunchium Thieves, you've been defeated. Now pack up and go.
The Crunchium Thieves were shamed, having lost to the Crunchlings. They were banished from the center of the earth, never to return. The Crunchling seized the thieves' digging robots and, with the help of the captain, reprogrammed the robots to begin rebuilding Crunchium City. For days after their victory, the Crunchlings feasted on Cap'n Crunch cereal and celebrated. The celebration culminated in a tremendous parade through the city. It was the happiest day in the history of Crunchium City. And while the Crunchlings celebrated, Captain Crunch fixed his Crunchium collector. He re-established his pipeline of Crunchium that went all the way to Crunch headquarters.
Good as new. Now the world's supply of Cap'n Crunch cereal can be as sweet and delicious as ever, thanks to all the little Crunchlings who help make a difference. And one little Crunchling with a heart of a giant.